everyone, welcome back to another episode of Hidden Gems where we talk about product use cases with the Covalent API. I'm Leilani, and today we're going to talk about how wallets use Covalent. So I'm going to go through Rainbow Wallet, we'll check out Bitski, and we'll also look at Etherscan because most of these wallets are mobile and I don't really want to record this on a phone. So I think we're going to go through Etherscan, which actually has a great wallet feature. And that's gonna basically give you all the same building blocks that you would build on a mobile app. And we're gonna map it to Covalent's endpoints. So I'm gonna have the API reference open in another window, and we'll go through how you can build each section. This is a good one because the Covalent API is actually perfectly geared towards wallets more than any other major use case, although you can use it for a ton of different things. But as you can see, I'll just bring up our API reference. Like even the sections of our endpoints correspond to the building blocks of wallets, so balances, NFTs, transactions. The security one's pretty cool, which we'll actually get into, and then these base endpoints, which are like building blocks. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Rainbow Wallet is an awesome wallet. It's one of my personal favorites. Super cool UI. It is mobile, and I didn't really want to record this on a phone, but I can actually just zoom in on what it looks like on their website, and we can kind of use this as a building block for what the UI would look like. And then I also brought up Bitski, which is another great wallet that uses Covalent, and same thing, it's mobile, but they have some screenshots of like what it looks like on their website. And what I'm actually going to bring up right now is Etherscan. So this is just like an example wallet address, demo.eth, which I use for a lot of different things. And how did I get here? Basically, I clicked on their wallet address, and then the Etherscan has this feature like view in token holdings. And basically this is a wallet. It's all the same things, just laid out in a different way. So there's a section for the liquidity pool assets, NFTs, a list of their token balances, the total net worth, and some other stuff. So let's get started. First of all, the number one thing that you want to see in a wallet is a list of all of the tokens that you hold. So let's go to the API reference. If you haven't already signed up for a free API key, you can do so, and then you can follow along with me. You get here from covalenthq.com/docs/API, or you can just click API reference in the top corner. Let's go to balances because that's the first section we're looking at, and then I'm going to go to get token balances for address. So here, this is going to give me a list of all of my token balances, and I can actually get NFTs in this as well, which I'm probably going to do because, as you can see, this wallet has a bunch of different NFTs that they hold too. A lot of these are probably going to be spam NFTs, so we might want to filter some of that out because you don't want to interact with nasty spam NFTs that could drain your wallet. That's just like a word of warning. But let's build this section first. So in the wallet address field, I'm just going to actually put demo.eth. This is great because Covalent resolves ENS names, unstoppable domain names, and lens handles, which is new, and RNS names. So instead of me like going back and pasting the address, I can just put demo.eth, which is sweet. So let me do that. And then quote currency, let's go back and I'll show you what I mean. Rather than show all of these different things in all of these different tokens, 3.40, well, the quantity basically doesn't tell you anything. You want to know the value in your currency of your choice. So this is going to default to USD, but you can select different currencies here. Then I can include NFTs. I'm going to do it without that for now. Okay, let's just run and see what we get. Okay, so I can see for this address, demo.eth, they're holding 124 tokens, which is kind of expected because this probably receives a lot of tokens. And I'm going to just click into each of these items. And this is actually, I only need one endpoint to pretty much to do this whole display. So what I'm going to see is each of the different tokens, the name, the ticker symbol, the contract address, so I can click on that token, the type of token, which is an ERC20. It's also going to show me when it was transferred into the wallet, the type. So if it's a stable coin, which this one we're looking at is Tether, it's classified as a stable coin. Is it spam? No. The balance, so this is the actual amount of those tokens that they hold. the quote rate, which is like the exchange rate with USD, the quote, and then the quote formatted, which is going to show you the quote in USD in like an actual dollar value. So $858.12 worth of Tether. So this is like pretty much everything I need. Oh, and the logo, of course, which is also important because now I have logo, token name, token ticker, the contract address, the quantity, the change in 24 hours, which we also had, the value in USD, which we also had, the price, yeah, quote rate, price. So perfect. I have every single thing, and if I go through, I can do that for each of the different tokens. So Frontier, I also have the logos, the names, everything about it, the values, and all of these things. And then let me just scroll to the very bottom. Pagination. So I didn't paginate because I don't need to paginate because this is all of them. And oh yeah, well actually it's worth scrolling to the bottom because you can see some of these tokens are classified as dust tokens, which means there's just like a very small balance of them. Something that's interesting about the way Covalent returns balances is that we also return some tokens which have a zero balance, and this is because at some point the balance was positive, but it's sort of like a bank account where you've had a balance before, but you don't anymore. That contract address is still one that you've held in your wallet before, so it's still going to show you the token. You can choose to omit that if balances are zero. So now let's move on to the NFTs. Let's actually use the same endpoint just for funsies. So we'll click NFTs, and this one, I'm going to check this as well because I only want to see cached NFTs if I want to display something really fast. If I want to display all of the like random other NFTs, then I'll just not click this because then it'll fetch some of these ones that are maybe held on upstream servers. But for right now, if I only want to show like the major NFTs that they hold that are going to be part of cached collections, then I'll do that. And let's actually just check like everything. I'm going to also check no spam because I don't want NFT spam because I don't see the point in putting it there. And if I didn't want to fetch all of the metadata, but I just wanted to know which NFTs they hold, like the collection name and the ID, I could do this. So I could remove the metadata, which would make the response a little bit faster, but I do want the metadata right now, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, so I was scrolling through the response and I did find an NFT. This is a POAP, the Proof of Attendance Protocol, which is pretty popular in Web3. If you go to events, you can collect these POAP NFTs that basically just certify that you were there. So as you can see, I can tell this by the type, which is type NFT. It's not spam. There's a balance of 1. I have the logo URL and a couple other important data points. The one thing, if you didn't want to go through the whole response to find NFTs in like 146 items, you can actually just go to the NFT endpoints and go to get NFTs for address. So this is a bit easier if you do want to separate that API call. Otherwise, you would just segment them based on the type. But let me just get NFTs for address. I'm going to do the same thing, demo.eth. And I'm not going to click anything else right now. So this is showing me 22 NFTs. This one shows me 37, but I'm going to assume that some of these are like really random or old NFTs that we don't show. Okay. So if I go to get NFTs for address, I can do the same thing, but I'm just only going to fetch the NFTs that this person's holding instead of like all of the token balances if I wanted to segment it. And then I just put in demo.eth, I hit run, and it's going to give me all of these NFTs. So this is a Crystal Pops Founders Edition. Balance is 1, token ID, token URL, and the external data. So these are the different cached images, which is super useful for keeping everything consistent. And yeah, this one doesn't have attributes, so not every NFT has attributes. Let me just click on this and see what it looks like. Oops. All right, cool. I have this little bear. So that's how I can render all of the NFTs for this this wallet. Let's click on some other stuff. If I wanted to get the total net worth in USD, I would sum up all of the pretty quote values and the balances response. And if I wanted to get the net worth in ETH, then I could use the quote rates in that response, or I could just sum up the value parameter, which is just the value in the native token. Let's scroll down to, okay, this is kind of interesting. So liquidity pool assets in wallet. So they are active in 6 liquidity pools, and it looks like they're all on Uniswap v2. We actually do have an endpoint for this as well. So if I go down to class B, xy equals k, I know I sound like I'm speaking gibberish right now, but I'm going to go to xy equals k address exchange balances. Basically what xy equals k means, this is like the constant product AMM, so token x times token y equals k, and that's how dexes like Uniswap v2 and then all of the subsequent clones calculate their token prices, so that's why these are named xy equals k. But what I'm saying in plain English is that these endpoints are going to give you dex data for any Uniswap v2 clone. That would include like SushiSwap, PancakeSwap. You can actually just get a list of all the supported dexes here. Okay, cool. So if I put in Uniswap v2 and the wallet address, this is showing me 8, so maybe some of these are like the 0 balances that aren't showing up on Etherscan because we have a different style of showing them. But now I can actually see the pool token that this wallet holds and the amount of each token in the pool that they hold, which is pretty cool. So if I scroll down here, I can see all the different protocol specific endpoints, and these are not in the xy equals k section because they're not Uniswap v2 clones. They're different and they have their own architecture, so we have separate endpoints for those. So if a wallet's interacting with like Compound or Balancer or Aave or any of these, then I can actually click in and I can also query their transactions on that exchange or lending protocol, the balances on that protocol, and the redeemable token balances. And this one's a cool one because this is like how much their LP token is worth. So yeah, we have endpoints to basically do everything you would need in a wallet. And there's a lot of other cool features you can add in. So like this one's cool, wallet activity alerts. So if you want to follow and set up notifications for interesting transactions or wallets, we actually do have a guide on our docs on how to do that. So let me show you that. If you go to Unified API and you go to guides, this is where you can find a lot of really helpful guides on getting started with the API. Here we go. How to flag interesting wallets or transactions. So yeah, if I wanted to set up alerts, we have a guide that actually takes you through exactly how to build that feature. And we also have building wallets part 1 to 7. So if you want to learn how to build token displays, show curve liquidity pool token balances, so that's what we were just looking at. This is kind of the trickier stuff because balances is a little bit easier. So if you want to actually learn how to build in those like DEX features or revoke approvals for your wallet, you can go through that series and it's super, super helpful. Okay, so there's one thing I didn't mention, which is security endpoints. That's another important feature that you can add into a wallet. So let me actually put in demo.eth again in here. Hopefully this resolves ENS. So Etherscan has this feature and Covalent also has an endpoint for this. And this basically is how many different protocols this wallet address has granted approvals for and the value at risk if those protocols were to be hacked. So basically when me or you wants to transact in Web3 and we want to use a decentralized exchange like Uniswap or I don't know, anything where you connect your wallet to, even MetaMask, you have to approve the smart contract for that protocol to access the tokens in your wallet in order to execute that transaction. So if I want to swap my tokens, I need to approve Uniswap to execute the swap. And what happens there is sometimes people grant these unlimited approvals, or even they can grant finite approvals, like I'm only going to grant access to the amount of tokens that I want to swap. But oftentimes people forget to revoke these. So what happens is if any of those protocols are hacked and this approval is outstanding, then it could actually drain the funds in your wallet. So here on the Etherscan feature, you can see we have a list of like the transaction hash for when the approvals were granted. the spender, which is the contract address that the approval was granted for, the original allowance, so some of these are unlimited, which is kind of a risk, and then this is like the total value of all of these tokens that could potentially be hacked. And you can see this happens for NFTs as well on OpenSea every time you like do an NFT transaction. So let me actually go back to the API reference really quick and show you how you could add this feature in. It's in security. You go to get token approvals for address. You put in the wallet address. So I'm going to do demo.eth again. And now I'm going to get a list of all of these different token approvals and the amount. Demo.eth approved an unlimited access to their Tether tokens on Uniswap. And the value at risk is all of those tokens, which is about $850. And we actually categorize these risk factors in the Covalent API response, and these are based on the value at risk. So I think under 1,000, it's consider revoking, and I think over 1,000 is you should revoke that immediately. You could also configure your own risk factors just based on whatever value you think is appropriate. But yeah, this is something that's going to show you all of your different approvals and which protocols they're on, and also make suggestions. And then if you want to actually implement a token approvals feature, just like how Etherscan's done it, where you can actually revoke it, then we have a guide on how to do that. So the guide is this revoking approvals for your wallet, and it's part of that Building Wallets series. So that was how wallet applications are using Covalent. We covered token balances, NFTs, DeFi assets, revoking approvals, how to set up notifications, and we linked to a bunch of other helpful guides. So you can check those out below on how to get started building wallets and creating your own applications that look like this. If you have any questions, please drop them below or get in touch with us on Discord, and stay tuned for more product use case videos. Thanks for watching.